Welcome back to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason, and here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers and build custom software solutions. So I do a lot of work as a fractional CTO with over a decade of executive leadership experience and a solid 25 years in software development. I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So today we're diving into Mark Zuckerberg's perspective on why AI approaches are wrong and why other AI approaches are wrong, and how open source AI is the path forward. So let's dive into this topic today. All right, so let's dive into this topic again. So now, Mark Zuckerberg is a staunch advocate of open source AI. He believes that open source models foster innovation and collaboration within the tech community. So unlike proprietary AI systems, and if you hear me say proprietary AI systems, I'm probably talking about ChatGPT or possibly Google Gemini, but most likely ChatGPT, especially because they're the big guy on the block, so everybody's trying to beat him up, particularly Zuckerberg here. So unlike proprietary AI systems, open source models are transparent and can be scrutinized and improved by anyone. This openness ensures that AI development is not restricted to a few companies, but is accessible to developers worldwide. So as developers, we're a big fan of open source because it democratizes technology and fuels collective advancements. So Zuckerberg's push for open source AI underscores his commitment to a more inclusive tech ecosystem. Now, a lot of that came on this week because they just released Llama 3.1, right? And this is an open source model that, and I'm a little bummed because they made the smallest version of this 8 billion, and I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But then they have 8 billion, 70 billion, and 405 billion. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. But I am bummed to see their 3 billion model go away, which is really big bummer, because I'm a big fan of these smaller ones. So they released that this week, and with this, it comes with some key capabilities and things, and you can check out their website and talk about this, right, and where you can host it. Now, Zuckerberg gave a big announcement as part of this, and that's really where I got a lot of this that I'm going to be talking about today. And he's talking about why open source is good for developers, and that's really what I wanted to dive into today, is what Zuckerberg was talking about here. Now, one of the primary criticisms Zuckerberg has about other AI approaches is their lack of transparency. Proprietary AI systems often operate as black boxes, making it difficult to understand how decisions are made and what the training was. This opacity can lead to issues of trust and accountability. So in contrast, open source AI models provide full visibility into their workings, allowing developers to understand and refine the algorithm. And I really like that. And that's kind of why I was talking about the 3 billion models, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So transparency is crucial for building trust and ensuring that AI systems are fair and unbiased. Zuckerberg's stance on transparency aligns with a broader developer community demands for ethical AI. Now, there's also will allow collaboration and innovation. Zuckerberg argues that open source AI accelerates innovation through collaboration. So when developers worldwide can access and contribute to AI models, the pace of technological advancement increases. Proprietary systems, on the other hand, limit this collaboration to within just that organization. So if you're just Apple or just ChatGPT or just OpenAI or just Google for Gemini, but it slows the progress overall. So open source AI allows for a diverse range of inputs and perspectives, which can lead to more robust and versatile solutions. So by fostering a collaborative environment, open source AI can tackle complex problems more effectively. This approach aligns with the ethos of developer community, where sharing knowledge and a resource is highly valued. So now let's talk a little bit about the ethical considerations and accountability. Ethics AI is a significant concern, and Zuckerberg believes that open source AI is better positioned to address these issues. Elon Musk is a pretty loud advocate about this as well. Proprietary AI models often lack transparency, making it difficult to hold them accountable, i.e. OpenAI here, right? Or Google Gemini with some of their weirdness and some of their woke stuff that they've released over the last few months. But it's difficult to be held accountable for biased or unethical behavior. Open source AI, on the other hand, has an inherent transparency, which allows for greater scrutiny and accountability. Developers can identify and correct bias, ensuring that AI systems operate fairly. By prioritizing ethical considerations, open source AI can build trust with users and stakeholders. So Zuckerberg's focus on ethics resonates with the developer community and its commitment to responsible AI development. Now, this goes to this next point that I'm going to talk about cost and accessibility. And I think he's a little hypocritical on this, so I'm going to pick at this just a little bit. So another advantage of open source AI, according to Zuckerberg, is that its cost effectiveness and accessibility. Developing proprietary AI systems can be prohibitively expensive, limiting participations to well-funded organizations only. So open source AI reduces the cost by allowing developers to build on existing models and share resources. So think of Hugging Faces, right? Huge community, huge place where tons of people contribute, and you can boom, pull down and use it. And anybody with the hardware, which is where I'm going to get to, can then run this. So this accessibility democratizes AI development, enabling smaller companies and individuals like me to be able to dive in and to be able to contribute and to become developers on it. So by lowering barriers to entry, open source AI fosters a more inclusive and diverse tech landscape. Zuckerberg's emphasis on accessibility highlights potential for broader participation in AI innovation. Now, I think he's a little hypocritical here on this one point, and so I'm going to pick at this just a little bit here, because my complaint is that with Llama 3.1, we lost our 3 billion model. At least they're not advertising it. Now, I haven't gone in to look to download the models, and maybe I probably should before I open my big fat mouth. But it looks like the 3 billion model is gone. And I believe the 3 billion model was still around on Llama 3. I know it was on 2 because we've played with it quite a bit. And so my only little bit of hypocritical talk here is that even an 8 billion model requires, I mean, really usually you're looking at 1.2 times the size of the model for the graphics card, the VRAM needed in order for the graphics card to run. So you're really looking at a bare minimum of 11. There are some 11 gigabyte graphic cards out there, but really looking at some of the 12 gigabyte graphics card in order to be able to run the minimum model for Llama 3.1. Now, even in the US here, on a used, you're lucky if you can get a 12 gigabyte graphics card for $400, right? And brand new, you're probably looking at $400 to $600. So in a developing country, and this isn't to mention how much electricity it uses, right? So even in a developing country, I think that's a little hypocritical, and I'm a really big fan of these little models. So I kind of think he's missed a little bit here, but that's my 2 cents here. I mean, again, let me know if you think I'm wrong. But I just really think, and I'll talk, let me get to the next point on this in just a minute here, but I think this is a point that I kind of want you to keep in the back of your mind here as I dive through a little bit more of this topic. Now, next, where was I? I lost my place. All right, community and ecosystem development. So Zuckerberg envisions a vibrant community and ecosystem around open source AI. Now, again, a little hypocritical there because you got to have this minimum hardware, which is still pretty hefty hardware. You're pretty much talking about a $1,000 box to really be able to run an 8 billion model. So a strong community can support the continuous improvement and maintenance of AI models. Proprietary systems often suffer from siloed development, limiting their growth and adaptability. So in contrast, an open source ecosystem benefits from the collective efforts of diverse developer base. This community-driven approach ensures that AI models remain cutting edge and relevant. Zuckerberg's vision for a robust open source ecosystem aligns with the collaborative spirit of developer community. And again, I think this is really where you see something like Hugging Faces that really is actually like proving this point. Here, let me pull it up here. So I think as we look at this AI community, you can see that there really truly are just thousands and thousands of models that are out here, right, with different data sets and everything. And I really like this because, again, if I'm going to be playing on something, I can look at these and dig into something that has, smaller models. And so, I really think that as so I like this. And I do agree with him on the fundamentals. I think it's a little hypocritical, again, that they pulled the 3 billion model away because you could run that on a 4 gigs graphics card, which was a lot simpler. All right. Security and reliability. So security has to play a huge critical aspect of AI development. And Zuckerberg argues that open source AI can enhance security and reliability. And I agree with him. Proprietary systems may have undisclosed vulnerabilities, posing significant risks. Open source AI allows for continuous security audits by the global developer community. This collective vigilance helps identify and address vulnerabilities more quickly. By leveraging the expertise of a broad range of developers, open source AI can achieve higher standards of security and reliability. Zuckerberg and Meta's focus on security resonates with the developers community priority of building robust and secure systems. Now, customization and flexibility. Open source AI offers greater customization and flexibility compared to proprietary systems. Developers can modify and adapt open source models to meet specific needs and requirements. You can't do that with like ChatGPT or with Google Gemini. But with a lot of these open source models from Hugging Faces or even Llama, right? This flexibility is crucial for developing tailored solutions in diverse industry and applications. So proprietary systems often come with limitations and constraints. Proprietary systems, ChatGPT, right? Restricting their adaptability. Open source empowers developers to innovate and create very specific solutions. So Zuckerberg's emphasis on customization aligns with the developer community demand for flexible and versatile tools. Now, Zuckerberg talks about long-term sustainability, and he believes that open source AI, not OpenAI, but open source AI, it's really easy when you're talking fast, but open source AI ensures long-term sustainability and evolution. Proprietary systems may become obsolete if the company behind them ceases support or ceases to exist, but in most cases ceases to support. I think this is a little jab at Google, right? Because we all know that there's been some feature or some product at Google that we've all known and loved, and Google just decides not to support it anymore because either it didn't make business sense or whatever, right? And so, as you look at something like, these, if you build on top of one system and suddenly it's gone one day because the company no longer supports it, you're host. So open source AI is driven by a global community, and it can evolve and adapt over time, meaning it can never die. This continuous development ensures that AI models remain relevant and effective. By fostering a sustainable ecosystem, open source AI can keep pace with technological advancements and emerging technologies. Zuckerberg's focus on sustainability reflects the developer community commitment to long-term innovation. And again, when we see something like Hugging Faces with thousands of, and millions of people who come to use it, I mean, look at this. There are tens of thousands, 26,000 different models that we can pick from here. And so I like what he's saying here, and I agree overall, but again, I think they kind of missed and not releasing a 3 billion model. One of the other overarching things that I don't think he talks about here, and that I do think that they missed on with releasing Llama 3 with only these huge models, why do we have to burn so much power, right? So there's this chart here that was released by the VP of Generative AI at Meta, right? And we can see where Llama, placed on this, right? And so it's ranking right up here, but this is a 405 billion model. What does it cost to build this system? Probably at least tens of millions to build a system that can run a 405 billion model. I don't even know. It's such a stack of H100s that I can't even really fathom it, right? So this is a huge thing, and I don't even know how in the world you would run a 405 billion model, because if you go 1.2, you got to have at least 500 plus gigs of VRAM. So I guess in theory, maybe 250,000, so you could build a system that could do this really poorly, but that's just huge, right? But the difference to me in seeing an 88 score versus seeing a 60 or 70 score that a 3 billion could do, and then train it to your specific needs, voila. You can run that almost on a phone, on some embedded systems. I mean, a 3 billion model still requires at least, 4 gig graphics, but that is something I could build and stick under a desk somewhere, right? Or even in the hosting space, not pay literally an arm and a leg for a product. So for small startups and things like that, I think this is really something that they need to consider. So I was really bummed to see, and I think it was a miss, and I think it was kind of hypocritical to what Zuckerberg's talking about here, to not release it with a 3 gig model. All right, so empowering the next generation of developers, and this leads right into what I'm talking about here. Zuckerberg highlights the role of open source AI in empowering the next generation of developers. Open source projects provide valuable learning opportunities for aspiring developers and small startups like us. By contributing to and learning from open source AI models, developers can gain practical experience and skills. This hands-on involvement fosters a deeper understanding of AI and its applications. Zuckerberg's vision for open source AI aligns with the developers community goal of nurturing and mentoring future talent. So, I've gone through a lot of things here. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers, and we love to build great custom software solutions for people, particularly around AI and a lot of this. But I love having a good, healthy discussion, so leave a comment down below. And if you disagree, I love having a healthy debate. If you love Zuckerberg and you think he's totally on, great. If you hate him and vilify him and think he's the devil and he's really just trying to build the machines that are going to kill us all, let's hear it. I'm all ears. So hit that link down below, and we will catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.